Stay here. Watch your step. Just keep asking.
It's extremely difficult, me personally and everyone here, to be margish. When we mentioned the name Leah Kranczer, Leah Shalom, when we mention such a name, we're thinking of the vibrant Leah Kranczer. We're thinking about the Leah Kranczer that was full of energy and stamina in her daily quest to do good things. This is what her life was all about. I'm mishpacha with the Kranzers. I remember when they arrived in America, they were just married. I think it was in Paris or in France. They came to Chicago. There was a Moishy, Alav Shalom, had a brother, Shimon, who married a cousin of mine, and they were integrated into our family and then into the whole community. And they became not just simple members of the community, They became the beloved members of the family, such Yekorim, such Chavivim, that it's rarely seen by people. We can't forget whenever there was a Malava Malka to be made for the Weiznerov's Kehillah or for other Kehillas and other Rabbanim. So Moishy and Leah Kranczer were the ones that took care of arranging and setting it up and taking care of every detail so it should function well. And this was something I can't forget what Chazal say, that Isaiah Isha Ksheira. What is an Isha Ksheira? Isha Ksheira, she's a Shemer Mitzvahs. That's the Isha Ksheira. Chazal say Isha Ksheira is She'oisa Ritzoin Bala. She does what her husband wants, she fulfills her husband's wishes. I'm thinking, yes, there are wonderful women, and you could say they're noshim ksheiros, that they certainly agree with all that their husbands do, and they give him moral support, but they let the husband do what he wants to do, and that's their isha ksheiros status and role. By the Nefteris, by Leah Kranczer, she was oisa ritzoin bala. If her husband was engaged in doing chasodim to help other Yidden, so then she had to be doing part of that. She was the oisa ritzoin bala, not merely approving and giving her moral support. She was the oisa. She was involved in every aspect of how to help other people. This was their lives. Mrs. Kranczer, Aleh Shalom, together with Moishy, they were zoiche to build doiros, the most beautiful doiros, that Klal Yisrael has so much nachas from the doiros that they brought into this world. Such azalchene shene kinder einaklach and ureineklach azalchene shene doiros. It was something. It is something to see, and how were they zoiche to do this? They were zoiche to do this because of their mesiras nefesh to help other Yidden. That's how they were zoiche. Obviously, they carried the ruach, the spirit, the geist of the Hasidic background that they both came from. But the ikar was that they were moiser nefesh to maintain the high standards of Yiddishkeit and to be involved and preoccupied with chesed for others. That's how they were zoiche to have such beautiful, wonderful children. Eile told us Noach ish tzadik tamim hoy b'deroisav. And the Welt, the Forsham asked that Eile told us Noach ish shem cham v'yafes. That doesn't say right away. It says Eile told us Noach ish tzadik tamim hoy b'deroisav. Yes, there were children, Shem Cham v'Yafes. Shem, of course, excelled as the big tzaddik. Shem became the Malki tzaddik. Shem was the big tzaddik for sure. The other ones didn't have that level of tzidkis. But Noach ish tzaddik tamim hoy b'deroisav. That was his greatness, that he was personally the ish tzaddik tamim hoy b'deroisav. Here with the Nefteris, Leah, together with her husband Moishy, Olav Shalom, they had it both. They had the most beautiful. They were themselves the tzaddik tamim b'deroisav. They were themselves. They personified the tzidkis, the mesiras nefesh for Yiddishkeit. At the same time, they had the most wonderful. They have with us the most wonderful toldos that could be. When a person gives a bracha to a child, the Torah gave us how we give that bracha. In Parshas Vayechi, Moshe Rabbeinu, Yankov Avinu asked Kodesh Baruch Hu, Yosef asked Yankov, give a bracha for my children. B'cho Yevorech Yisrael, Ephraim u'Menashe, Yesimcha Elokim ke Ephraim u'Menashe. He's asking for a bracha for them, And Yaakov Avinu is answering that when people give brachas to their children, they should use Ephraim and Menashe as the role model for the bracha. One would think that Yosef was seeking for his children a bracha. The answer is obvious. We see from there that having children who inspire everyone to go in the right derech, there can be no greater bracha than that. No greater bracha. Yisimcha l'kimke Ephraim Menashe b'chol yivorech Yisrael. Yisimcha l'kimke Ephraim Menashe. This was the bracha that they should be able to personify what bracha is, and this is the greatest bracha. We now can say that Mrs. Kranczer, Aleha Shalom, Reb Moishy, Aleha Shalom, that you were zoiche to get such children that Klal Yisrael, in Yiddish you would say, barimen sich mit die Kinder, these your doires, your children, your grandchildren, and future great grandchildren. These are children that personify what you not just aspired to achieve, but which you toiled to achieve, and now we see the children that are personifying this, and they become the dogma, they become the role model of was ist teich gute Kinder. I want to conclude, the time is very short. In Parshas Koirach, it says that Koirach einoi hit osid. Chazal say that what he saw with his eye caused him to make a major to'os, a major error. He saw Shmuel Hanavi coming from him. He figured, then I must be doing good if Shmuel Hanavi can come from him. He made a mistake. It's not from him. It's not his koyach and his chus that we had a Shmuel Hanavi. Here we could say that in this chus of Mrs. Kranzer's avodas Hashem, Mrs. Kranzer's chesed, here in Chicago, constantly helping and seeking with her husband, Olav Shalom, to work and do things for others. And then I've heard, I didn't see her once she moved to West Palm Beach, but I've heard from the others that have Anshe Shlomeinu that are living in the winter in West Palm Beach, how Mrs. Kranzer's house was a bayis pasuach l'revacha. In her house was a place where she welcomed people to be mechazik them, to give them, strengthen their ruach, strengthen their spirit, and to keep up the traditional milas that these Yidden live with in the entire year. They should continue that way in Florida. At the end, we're concluding that in the Parshas Koirach, Moishy Rabbeinu told Al Pi Hashem that all the Shvatim should have their Nesiim place their matos, their staffs, their canes, their staffs into the Mishkan, and Aaron will put there, and we'll see who is HaKadosh Baruch Hu choosing. And the Torah says that Mate Aaron Porach Vayotzei Tzitz Vayigmol Shkedim, that there was a blossom, there was a bud, and finally there was the most luscious fruit, almonds and most luscious fruit that grew. The question is, just bring up the fruit. It's all a nace anyways. The Torah is teaching us you won't produce doires with nisim. Nisim don't produce doires. Miracles are miracles that help Klal Yisrael. But to produce gute doires, it doesn't come with nisim. To produce gute doires, it comes from amal, with yegia, with toil. And this is what the Nefteris was zoiche to accomplish together with Moishy Yitzchak Olav Shalom, that they toiled, they worked with Mesiras Nefesh to maintain the house of Yiddishkeit, the house of Shmiras HaTorah v'HaMitzvahs and Avos HaTorah. This is what they accomplished in Avos Yisrael, and then this was able, through that, they were able to go through the process of having wonderful blossoming generations, newly budding generations, till ultimately the growth of luscious fruit that we have with us here today and in the mishpacha wherever they may be. Shem Yisborach should give us that we should be able to all come together for simchas, and this was what they lived for, that they should see by every Yid simchas, and she should rejoin her husband in Ginzei Meroimim, and there to join together to go before the Kisei HaKavod, the Lamala, and beg HaKadosh Baruch Hu to help bring as soon as possible the Yeshua for Gans Klal Yisrael. Mocha Hashem dimo me'al kol ponim.
Kommen sich du zusammen zu geben die Kubedachen von der Chushewe Nefteires. Es hat gewaltiges Chissim, als noch als bittere Mechumme, als sie solche gewesen, Chassene zu haben, wegzustellen als Stieb, wo sie gewesen hat Digme von einer ehrlichen, feinen jüdischen Stieb. Nuschen, der Gemüse im Bruch sagt, Nuschen bei Michael Sachien, wusste seinen des Chissen, was Nuschen Zitkuni es haben, sagt der Gemüse, als einem Mechazek der Kinder in der Männer zu tun, mitzwissen, maßem Teuvim, zu gehen besmedisch, zu lernen. Die Getreischaft, was der Nefteires hat gehabt, zu ihr Mann, Rav Moishy, und zu ihr Kinder gewesen außergewöhnlich. A Getreischaft, was man sieht nicht so Hand. A Getreischaft, was sie gekommen von der alten Heim, was man hat gelebt von jenem. Man ist aufgestanden jeden in der Früh, und man hat getracht, was kann ich tun von meinem Mann, was kann ich tun von meinen Kindern, sollen keine Matzliach sein. Einer von der ersten Zechreines, was ich habe als Kleinkind, aber der Kranczer Mischpoche gehen sei und mit der Seide im Baben in Albany Park, von gleich noch der Melchumme. Aber ich als Kleinkind schon in West Rogers Park, denke ich, wenn sie pflegen zu kommen, bei dem Lava Malkes, Motze Shabbos, in so einer sehr herausgeholfen mit der sehr Getreischaft, mit der sehr Feinkeit. Und es hat ausgesehen, als wie mit Tid sehr Teufe, als man lasse helfen. Man hat gekannt sein, als du sie gewähnt, der ganze Chies, Tien noch a Teufe von jenem. Man lebt von jenem, nicht von sich. Du sie gewähnt, das Leben von der Nefteires Olea Schulem. Leben von jenem, in Buch Hashem Zatake, solche gewähnt, nur schon bei Michael Sachien. Man kann herankommen, frien, besmedisch, und man sagt, der Banshi lernt mit der Chavrisse, und lernt in David, in Buch Hashem, man sagt in besmedisch, der Gette Mischpuche einiglich schon, was auch jetzt führen sich auf, in einer ehrlichen, feinen Weg, was ist ein gewaltiges Schiss, in der Chitz von dem Avade du der Mischpuche, was wohnt in New York, und andere Plätze, was jeder einen der eigene Weg bringt sich gewaltiges Chissim zu den Nefteires. Das Leibische soll helfen, der Nefteires geht sich jetzt treffen mit dem Spuche, was hat verloren in der Melchumme, und sie hat kennen sagen zu ihren Eltern, ich habe getan a Gitty, ich bin gewesen a Gitty Representative. Ich habe weggestellt am Spuche, was ist der Scheimele Tiferes, was der Seides und der alte Seides können sich stolzieren. Und der Eibestel soll geben Keuch für der Banshi und der Schwester und der ganze Spuche sollen können sich mechazig sein. Neibischte so helfen für jetzt und warte, so neu sein Simchis und Mocha Hashem Dimme mal Kolpunem und Neumar Mein.
Ich habe noch immer Chaserin, was Friedrich haben gesucht. Wir sind zusammengekommen, aufgeben der letzte Covid von der nobele, chusheve, königliche Frau, wo ische glickele, bald Reb Shmuel Kranczer war Schulem. Mrs. Kranczer ist geboren geworden in Rumänien, hat durchgemacht die Schwierigkeit von der Zweiten Weltmilchome, Gassing mit ihrem Mann in Frankreich, noch ist sie gekommen in Chicago, aufstellen sei Stieb, en lost ibe Kinder en eigentlich kleine Hori alle Jahre schon mit viel gehört. Die teure Deutsche die Woche, der Pascha Pura Dime, gleich noch dem, ist du den für Mrs. Miriam, was Miriam ist gestorben. Es Rasche bringt nach Asal, Rasche bringt der Gemurre, wo die Gemurre sucht, Lomo nismche Mrs. Miriam und Pascha Pura Dime, wo kommt die zwei Sachen zusammen? Mrs. Miriam und Pascha Pura Dime, so die Gemurre Marka Bun, leimolog dich zu sagen, Marka Bunes Mechaperes, also ich war Korben Mechape, aber Mrs. Sadikim, ehrlich Iden, geiner Weg, Mechaperes. A pura Dime, der Beginnen von der Korben, dann sind sie gedauert mit Galle. Aber die Misse von ehrlich Iden, bringt der Korben, ist Mechape. Betrifft auch in der Teure Deutsche, letzte Woche in der Pascha, man gab eine ganze Liste von alle Kabunis, alle Kabunis müssen suchen, mit Gießen waren auf die Kabunis. Gesehen bringen von Deutschen, also nicht so bringen Kapure, darf man weinen auf Weide, was verloren. Steht doch auch, der Chazal sagen, war Chai, jitten Liboy. Der Leben, die darf man herantrachten, wo hat man verloren, und wo kann man sich ablehnen von den Nefteres, also dann als Schiss für ihr. Was Fried schon gehört von den friedlichen Redners, wo sie mit ihrem Mann, Leima Schulem, haben aufgenommen jeden meinen bei der Malkes, bei Inseler Malke, bei Weichseiser Malke. Ich habe getracht, du sei passig zu sagen, warum Mechy was als Nusche, warum Mechy werden die Männer, wir suchen, Mechy was als Nusche, ich stand auf der Männer satt, sie stand auf der Frauen satt. Noch eine interessante Sache, die ich herausbringen, sie hat einen sehr starken Charakter von den anerkennenden Menschen, seine Keuches. Ich will sagen, eine interessante Sache, was ich gehört, also man schwer weg, das ist doch sein Nutz, man schwer weit zu rufen, sei Nutz. Der Moishy hat jemand mal gesagt, als der Weizen wo gehen für sei, also wie eine Tata und Mama. Das ist doch hey, und Tata und Mama, wo ist gedacht, wenn sie gegangen zu sein. Das andere Sache habe ich gehört, als wenn man schwer weg, ist gemacht jeden Tag, nicht einmal am Tag, 10-mal am Tag hat sie gegeben, man Schwieger in der Halten. Das andere Sache, also eins, was schon mitgemacht hat, sagt, ich kann verstanden, das Zweite, ich habe schon mitgemacht, und ich weiß, was es meint, sie hat verstanden, sie bestimmt ihr Gattermann, sie kann nicht gegen Kalmune. Sie hat verstanden, was es meint, innezuhalten, jeden Tag geriefen, ich bin gestern Frühstück, Kinder sind rausgegangen, das andere Sache, ob man Rebbe mich verzeiht, als mein Schwieger hat gewollt, mein Rebbe zu so nehmen, Lessons wieder zu nähen. Da muss ich schenken, für jüdische Mensch, wo ich mit so einer Hand Kneiner, Ribi, Kneiner, von lechtige Besprüche sind in den Stutt. Da muss ich gewähnen, zu lernen sich nähen, ich darf gar nicht sagen, Goethe zu lernen nähen. Mein Schwieger hat gesagt, sie gehen zu Goethe, ich muss mitgehen, ich kann nicht gehen. Ich kann schicken zu Goethe lernen nähen allein. Was hat Mrs. Kranczer getan? Sie hat das Santa Maß für sie getan. Mrs. Kranczer hat sich alleine herangeschrieben in den Kurs, mit meinem Schwieger, mit meinem Rebbetzen, als wir können mitgehen, halten kommen von meinem Schwieger. 8 Wochen, jeden Tag rausgegangen, einmal eine Woche rausgegangen bei Nacht, mitzugegangen, sie geben Kompliment von meinem Schwieger. Nicht einmal die Sensitivity, zu verstehen, was jener darf, du darfst man mitnehmen von den Nefteres. Zu verstehen, was jener darf. Einmal gehen mit der Schmeichel. So, ich sag mal jetzt, weil ich rede noch eine dritte Rede, ne? Das Endige mit den Kindern, der Handigen Nefteres. Ist eine Weide von Scheinlatzmire. Der Gein von der mulige Heim, die Königkeit und die Eitelkeit, ist eine Weide von der Sprüche, ist eine Weide für alle Gitter Frant. Es weiß wenn der Stut, dann der Stut gerade hat sich gewohnt zu Florida, gehört Hartberg gehört interessante Sach. Kommt ich auf der Weiber eins von Zeit, als in Florida jeden Shabbos dann zusammen kommen mit ihren Haus 30 Menschen essen Schalschides. Der Azami königliche Mensch, Azami woile Mensch, einmal gegeben, für die kommen zu einem neuen Platz. Florida, das ist kein bekannter Mensch, aber es ist sehr schnell geworden bekannt dort, jeden Schabbat, dann kommen über 30 Menschen zu Schalschides. Ich habe gehört, doch suchen, also viele, der Schabbat ist Frieden, und da war doch kein hier, doch kein hier in der Stiebe, haben sich wünschen, geht Schabbat. Das ist ein weiter für den Institut, also in so einem verloren, eine Schumme, wo es geblankte Institut. Die Ehrlichkeit in die ganze Benehmung ist ein Muster. Wir beten, Mechy für unsere Sprüche, Thomas nicht geriefen nicht, Thomas nicht gegangen nicht, in Mechy in der Stut. Wir wollen schon helfen, ich muss so bin, schlie euch schäbewig wie Leini. Im Oizel Huda Levisha, mit Tisrogem Achron, ihr Starkheit, wie sie gehen für andere Menschen, mit dem hoffen, dass sie können sagen, Tisrogem Achron, die kommt drauf oben in den Himmel, sie sagen, Gitte bete, für die rechtige Sprüche, auch für Sprache, Nikoli Kranczer, noch gegangen, der ja sehr schwer Jahre, soll sie auf den Himmel Poilen, bei ihr Mann mit der kein ganz mal schwer schwiegen, auch beten, der Sprüche soll erst um noch Simches in der Sprüche. Die Boys um helfen, so mit Kiemen werden, ihr Mucha Hashem, Dilma Kalpunem, wir geben es an Yusa, wir rachen mich ab, over, wo sie kommen haben, meine Omein. Please. Please.
Okay, just quickly, it's late, and Rabanshi asked me to say a few words. I only met Mrs. Kranczer once when she was in the nursing home in Florida, and I happened to be in Florida at the time, and I went to visit her. And there are certain people that their personality traits, you don't need to know them. You could see it on their faces. I once heard from my father in the name of his mother that when Agag saw Shmuel, he said, "Achein sar mar hamavis." Actually, it was just the opposite. Why did he think that? He said, with Shmuel Hanavi, his character traits were so apparent on his face. He thought that he had no more trouble, but of course he didn't understand that the character traits of Shmuel Hanavi were grounded in being devoted to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And my father once told me that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says about Avram Avinu, ki yedativ leman asher yitzaveh banav es beiso achrav v'shamru derech Hashem laso stoko mishpat. What is it? So my father said, he commands his children after him. So the Pashup Pshat, after him, he commands them how they should act after he's no longer there. My father said there is another explanation. And the other explanation is there are parents that command their children by their example. When it comes to character traits, you can give all the shiurim, you could give all the speeches, but it's not going to be successful unless it's achrav or acharecha. It's by demonstration, not an act. And this is the difference, I think, between the European Jew and the American Jew. The American Jew is from the outside in. From the European Jew is from the inside out. And that was what was so obvious that one time I met her, that it was from the inside out. And that's why you just took one look at her and you saw the Jewish character traits there just by taking a look at her. And in a sense, it's not just that we learned that she taught her, that she showed character, the proper character traits, but the character traits are a Masorah. It's part of the Masorah. It's something that has been given over for generations. I only met her once, but I saw her children, I saw her grandchildren, and it's because of the foundation that she was the one who brought over these character traits from Europe. It's always the bigger task is going from one era to another era. It's one thing, it's a big task going from one generation to another generation. But going from one era to another era is a bigger task, a bigger challenge. And she went from the era of Europe into the era of America. That represented a much bigger challenge, but she was able to carry that Masorah over, and that Masorah continues today. And this, I'm sure, because she led the foundation for this Masorah, this will continue ad bias Goel Tzedek.
Ma, you're home. We brought you home. We promised you'd come home. And Baruch Hashem, with the help of the Ribono Shel Olam, who were nifter last night at 12:15 in Yezechet to have the Levaya today. I can't thank Hashem enough. I can't thank everyone that was involved. I don't want to start mentioning people. Everyone knows that you were Daddy's right-hand man. When he was sick, you would take him to shul, you would do this, you would do that. It was always Daddy, it was always us, the kids. I mean, I was 16 years old before we had Feigy and Gitty. So, but Baruch Hashem, you were Zoicha to see a great, great grandchild that was born to the Goldsteins. His name was Yehuda, 30 days before your Patira. And there's some Kabbalah that says a child that's born, it doesn't become a child until 30 days. And Yudel was involved in us being able to get you here today. I want to ask Michal on behalf of myself, of my wife, of my children. If we did anything wrong to you, I'm going to ask Michal on behalf of Moishy and Feigy and their children and their grandchildren, and Mechy and Gitty and their children and grandchildren. And you're home. And we tried our best to give you all the cover we could. And I'm sorry no one was there last night, but we were all watching on the camera, so we were there. So be a Melis Yosher for the family, be a Melis Yosher for the city of Chicago, the city of West Palm Beach. You're going to be missed, but you're going to have fond memories in a lot of people's hearts. All right. What?
Yeah, first the tour. The first official tour. Huh?
Can we get the microphone over there? One of the grandsons wants to speak.
Talk about stuff.
I wasn't going to go. I just wanted to send my wife. Well, send her. She
When do they take Kriya?
Huh?
When do they take Kriya?
They take Korea. I think they'll probably as soon as the burial is finished. But actually, technically, they have to approve it last night.
Feigy. Aren't she now?
The left side. The left side. Can I get a leg? Watch your top. Very good shot. Wait, no. You're gonna make a rough. You're gonna make a rough.
I'm going to call you.
Okay. How late can I do it? Do it all night, but you have to come right to
Gitty, you'll talk in a minute. When they're after she says it.
Anybody else want to help a little? It's me.
I have girls, I have.
השאלה במרת במאל מיימס וחיה מויד ושול ויואל הציע תומם בכל מעשה מיום אלוהי מה תעשה ואוימה ואויסה חסד חינם לוני תעשה בסחיס הנקד בכסה הקשיבו ועשי צדיק בכל דרוכו והציע תומם ערך אפיים מול הרחמם חמוינו וחיסנו על אובס הבונם כלכו אודוין הסליחו את הרחמם צדיק אתו אדוינוי להומס על ההחיוס Usher beyotchu pikudaim karichois. Chulilo lechu zechanai dat nimchois. Vinu ein neichu berachma merain lekichois. Kilechu al doin rachma asichois. Udam ben shunu yichye o elef shum yichye. Ma Yisroin loi kiloi hoye yeh. Buir dain o emes maimis machaye. Buri chike emes dinoi. Mishoitait hakel be'ainoi mishalom le udam cheshboinoi v'dinoi. V'hakel l'shmoi hoiduyo itaini. Yedani al doinoi ki tzedik mishpatechu titzak b'durechu v'siske v'shavtechu v'ain lahara acha mishpatechu tzadik alto al doinoi v'yusha mishpatechu dayo in emes shoifai tzedik v'emes buich dayo in emes shekol mishputav tzedik emes Nefesh kol chai beyotchu tzedik mol yeminchu v'yodechu rachai ma'aplatja soim yudechu soim lemalach heref yudechu Gudo lo aitzer rav v'lido asher necha b'kichois al kol dakem udam Lusa is the ish keduchav fima lulav Hagad yusha adoyin tzirus leboy Adoyinoi nusan v'adoyinoi lukach Hi shaim adoyinoi mevoirach Vi rachem yechaper uvem leyashchis Yibrush afulei leikach musoi Können wir Kardisch anregen? Noch ein Karmel, ja? Ja, können Kardisch anregen. Wird ein Kardisch tut, wird ein Kardisch, was gefällt dir besser? Vermelig, take your time.
Iskadal, Iskadash, Mirabo.
Mine. Was? Clear. Okay, beside, okay. Beside. Dynamics. Right.
Iskadal, Iskadash, Mirabo, Vilmodo, Sid, Las Chodoso, Lachayo, Maisayo, Lasoko, Yoson, Lachayo, Omo, Lavne, Karto, Dirushalem, Vishal, Chalil, Hichaloi, Begabo, Ulmekor, Puchano, Nuchoro, Me'aro, Lasova, Puchano, Dishmaya, Lasro, Yamlich, Kidusho, Brichi, B'machusei, Vikore, Vyatzmach, Perkanei, Vikore, Mishichei, V'chai echon v'mechon v'chai l'chol beis Yisrael B'agaloz ma'kari v'imru amen Yesh merabo mevarach l'olam u'meu mayo Yisbarach v'ishtabach v'yispar v'yisamam v'yisnasei v'yisador v'yisalei v'yisalosh medekutshah b'richu Leila megov v'chosav v'shirasah tishb'chosav v'nechamaso Tamram b'amo v'imru amen Yesh shlom rabba min shemai v'chaim toim alenu al kol Yisrael v'imru amen Aseh shalom imamo v'yaseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Story.
Eile mole rachamim shoichein bameroimim Ametzei mnuchone choino al kanefei hashechinu b'malois kedoshim utehorim kezoyarorokiya mazirim es nishmas oisho glikole bas Reb Shmuel sheolecho le'olomo bavur שמשפחתו נוידים צדוקו בלי נדר בעד אזכור was נשמוסו בגני עדן בגני עדן תהי מנוחוסו לכן בעלו רחמים יסתירו בססר כנפיו לעולמים בצרור החיים אס נשמוסו Adonai o nachaloso vesonuach besholom al mishekovo venoimo Amen.
Gentlemen, we're going to form a shura, and then I think women separately. Closer to the outside, closer to the street. And then we're going to down the minutes just after outside the gate. Mincha right after outside the gate.